Mr. Randy Duck, and welcome back for another video. And today I've got two replays to show you in the recently buffed Tier 8 Polish tech tree medium tank, the CS-53. Yes, now this tank has had a buff in the recent balance change, and what I'm going to do before we get into two replays I've got to show off those changes is I'll quickly go over what they have done. Now I'm going to focus on the top tier packages because that's what you're going to look to do when you get this tank fully upgraded. So they've increased the base top speed from 50 kilometers an hour to 52 kilometers an hour. And then I guess the most important thing about the change is they have added the rapid mode like you will have on the tier 10. So essentially you can activate this, and when you get into the rapid mode, you'll increase your mobility and then reduce your aim time and concealment factor while in that mode. So when you activate that rapid mode, your engine power will go to 1050 horsepower, your top speed will go to 62 kilometers an hour, and your top reverse speed will go to 20 kilometers an hour. So that means you can now activate this just like you can in the tier 10 and just get to those destinations a lot quicker and a lot faster. And it is a significant change to this tank, which always was quite a nice medium. Maybe not a lot of people played it because it's a tech tree medium, and there's others which might say was better, but I've always really enjoyed this tank, and that rapid mode, as well as suiting the line, is a nice change. Okay, so that's really all the significant changes to the tank. What I'm going to do now is get into the two replays I've got to show you, and you can see how this has had an effect on the CS-53. Okay, so here we are for the replay number 1 on the Fisherman's Bay, and if you want to see the crew and equipment setup I'm using in the CS-53, you can see that at the bottom of the screen as I speak. But as you can see, we are tuned up here with the legend of Swindle 321. He is back, he's returned, and he's here to carry me in his SU. Now it is tier 9 matchmaking with 1 enemy artillery in the game and 1 enemy light tank. And you can see initially I've activated my speed mode to give me that boost of mobility to get to my destination quickly. Now I can deactivate my rapid mode here so that I won't suffer from the accuracy, because when you're in the rapid mode you're not really going to be able to shoot many targets unless you get very lucky, because your aim time will be horrendous as you would expect. But we get a nice juicy shot in a tier 9 heavy tank crossing there, get ourselves into a good start to the game. And we've now spotted enemy type 4 heavy. So I was kind of getting pre-aimed on the gap here, because if he crosses I want to try and get a shot into him if I can. I kind of took a gamble there, and he did cross as I took my shot. Unfortunately it didn't penetrate though. But we're on to a decent start of the game here. We're spotting a few targets going down the 7-8 line towards the town, and I want to make sure I do punish these targets if they cross. Looks like a Scorpion G is heading for this cross. I go for the blind fire and we connect, picking up our penetration number 2, putting us on to about 660 damage. With this tank you do have 300 alpha, and honestly I've always liked the CS-53. I've always thought it was a good tank. But with the speed mode, it fits the line, and it is nice, especially when you get those really big maps. You can just get to those destinations or catch up to get the damage or get ahead of the damage, which is always good. Enemy heavy tank does manage to cross. It kind of looks like he might be going to full commit here. If he does, I want to try and get back to a spot where I can shoot them if they full cross. I do get a punishing shot there into the enemy type 4, and we pick up 1,000 assistance for good measure as well. But now we're going to move into a position. You can see Swindle is already set up to punish this if this enemy leopard crosses here, but the leopard gets absolutely deleted, and now his friendly heavy tank looks like he's not going to cross either. He is put onto a one shot, but like I say, you always keep an eye on this little angle, because if they do cross you've then got 3 farms from this position. Unfortunately for us, they haven't really committed now. Well, they did try and commit, but they got slapped. Enemy tiger shark, and we managed to get spotted, and we put a juicy shot into him as he leaves, putting us onto 5 penetrations, 1,500 assistance. Yet though, although we've got off to a good start, the game is still pretty close at this point. We have the 1 tank advantage, but we do also have quite a big advantage on the hit points, to be fair. So we're now going to try and push forward and just try and extend the vision, see if we can get any shots in. So far we're pretty evenly split on our team. There's 2 tanks in the town, but one of them is very low health and is on a one shot, so I don't imagine he's going to last too much longer. If we can win the town area, that'd be great, because then I can got the freedom to push down the sort of 8-9 line, spot the enemy artillery, and create awkward angles. So any tanks in the sort of mid-ridge area, like the E2, 3, 4, 5 line, any tanks there, you can then take them out if you're able to get to, say, B7, for example. That's sort of the end game here. Thankfully for us, the tanks in the town have now been destroyed. Now I'm going to try and push that location, but as you can see, I haven't actually activated my speed mode. That's because the tank's still fairly quick without it, and I wanted to be ready to shoot that gun, because obviously it takes a few seconds to come out of speed mode, and I wanted to be ready to actually get those shots in. For tanks like this, which we've spotted, the enemy Fun Police, we put a big shot in. We've also got a Panzer J in front of us here, so kind of awkward. It means we need to kill this enemy Fun Police, or he's going to keep shooting us like that. But he shouldn't last long with our tanks coming out of the town, and I can use this building here to keep myself protected from that enemy tank destroyer. We do finish off the enemy artillery, putting this into a 14 versus 7 now, and we're in a really strong position. And you can see I've already racked up quite a nice bit of assistance here. We've got about 4,000 assistance with 2,000 damage. If I can finish off this one-shot TD, now I'm going to have the freedom to essentially try and push to sort of the A3-4 area and light up those last remaining tanks in the town. There was an enemy Tiger Shark shooting us, so we've got to be careful of that. That's the only real tank which is, well, I am clippable to him, but he's under a lot of pressure right now. I just don't really want to get spotted where I am. I've activated the speed mode now, because that's going to give me the best chance of getting to where I want to fast as possible. And essentially, yeah, this game is definitely won now. I just need to get to the sort of A1 line. If I can light those tanks, if you can see, it's 19% hit points left. Some of these tanks must be pretty healthy. And we have just spotted a full health T30, which is brilliant, because he's caught out in the open. That means all of that assistance is ours, and that was the help of that speed mode to get to that position quickly. Can I light the other tanks? Yes, I do spot an enemy in Iron Rain, who is also full health, and we put a cheeky shot into him, putting us on to just shy of 3,000 damage, 5,500 assistance. We're having a really decent game here for the combined damage. Gonna just hope that Iron Rain backed up. He didn't. But yeah, we do actually get that little bit of hit points remaining. Can we pick up our third kill of the game? No, he gets shut down by a friendly teammate there, but we do pick up the assistance for it, and that brings us into replay number 1. So let's see how we got on. We got 3,000 damage, 6,500 assistance. You can see Swindle also had a good game there, picking up about 3,000 damage, I believe, with 2,400 assistance. And yeah, we both have a nice game and confirm the victory. But let's move on now to replay number 2. Okay, so here we are for the replay number 2 on Lakeville. This time we're by ourselves. There's 1 enemy light tank and 2 enemy artillery. Now we have activated our speed mode early, and we're going to try to get to a position to spot the cross. This position does come with risk. Sometimes you can get trapped there, so you have to know when to leave. But I did just fancy trying to spot the cross early. As I've done that, an enemy light tank has come flying in. Now, I need to kill this light tank. I guess it's good, because we're going to be able to stop this light tank leaving and killing a top tier light tank here. We was able to shut him down with the help of our team here. And now we're going to try and hopefully spot the rest of the cross. If anything does cross, we should be able to get some assistance here, because we have a lot of tanks pushing to the hill, pushing to town. And where this position really works is if your tanks full commit into the town, then that gives you those side shots available. If they don't and they just stay at the top, that's when you think, well, maybe I need to leave because it will get a bit risky. But we do spot an enemy mouse breaker there crossing, and we're going to get all of his assistance. We put a shot in. Can we land a second? We do, and we finish him off. Good start to the game there with 1,000 odd assistance, picking up a kill and 1,000 damage of our own. And thankfully, a lot of the tanks are now pushing down to 9-0 into town. That's good for us, because if they get all the way down to the bottom, I will actually push aggressively to the next ridge. I'm looking on the mini-map, and there's quite a few tanks spotted on the 1-2. So I have to keep an eye on that. It could be, are we going to lose that? If we are, then I'm going to need to push forward. Now, enemy heavy tank gets spotted there. We should be able to slam a shell into him to the side of his turret. We do pick up another penetration. and we have won the town area pretty quickly. So I'm going to take advantage of that and now push forward, you know, keep the pace of this game going so that we don't lose 1-2. We can push forward, we can then potentially come behind these enemy tanks and put them in a really awkward situation. But we've got even better than that. Nothing's contesting this ridge, and we've spotted a lot of their team in a horrendous position. So we should be able to pick up all the assistance here. If not, we're going to be able to peak this ridge to take them out and get some damage of our own there. We confirm our second kill of the game by taking out that Scorpion G. Trying to kill the enemy fun police now because, yeah, why not? We got one which was looking at us. We should be able to finish him off. I need to get rid of these heat shells so I don't get any terrain in my way. Swap to the AP rounds now so I can go through the destructible cover. And we finish off, or do we? No, yeah, I think we finish off that enemy artillery blind there. Picking up our third kill of the game, put us at a 2,400 damage, 2,200 assistance, and this game is looking very, very much like a win here. It's just about, at this point, maximising the game. We just want to get as much out of this as we can. We've had a good start, but there's still 34% hit points. We're in a good position to get them. I want to see to finish off this enemy heavy tank which is holding up our team, and then I'm going to push around onto the enemy team. I've got, you see, rear shots in here. I'm going to take this tank out for our team here, which was sort of in a position holding them up, and now we can push forward to try and get the remainder of the damage on the 5 tanks remaining. We still have all our hit points available to us, so we can afford to eat a few shots if we need to. Put a shot into the Yahtzee, which puts us on the 3,400 damage. As you can see, it's just sort of farm the damage mode. We put him onto a one shot. We should have to kill unless our team take him out. No, they bounce, and then he does get finished off here. We do have 4 kills. Can we pick up a top gun if we're lucky? Maybe. Get a shot here into this enemy medium. Like I say, he's completely distracted. I can eat a shot, really doesn't matter. Just trying to get as much out of this as I can. I actually get slapped there by a Grom hiding in the back, but he's all by himself. Yeah, he's going to get absolutely pounded by our team here. I'm just going in, hoping for the best. You know, he could finish me off here, but we do pick up the assistance for it and he gets taken out. And that brings us in for the replay. Let's see how we got on, and yeah, we just then say our goodbyes. So we managed to get 4 kills, 4,500 damage, 2,800 assistance, confirming the ace tanker again and the high caliber. So that is all for the video. Thank you so much for your amazing support. If you do like the channel, please remember to like and subscribe. I'm going to get lots of videos out in all the buff tanks. There's lots to get through, but as always, happy tanking.
Hadouken!